Hello and welcome to the LLCS user/facility registration workflow microlearning session. In the new long-term care licensing and certification system, prospective legal entity administrators are able to submit a new user request via the unauthenticated OHCR portal. Similarly, legal entity administrators are able to create legal entities and submit a new user request on behalf of prospective facility users via the authenticated OHCR portal. Legal entities and facility users both are also able to register a new facility. In this video, we'll walk through an example of the user/facility registration workflow, specifically focusing on registering a legal entity administrator/registered agent user, registering a legal entity, registering a facility, submitting an initial application, then creating and linking a facility user. We're going to first log into the unauthenticated OHCR portal. That's the public portal. We see on this public portal in the top right corner, there's a register legal entity/registered agent user button. And I can select that to register as a legal entity administrator or registered agent user. In here on this new user request form, I'll just fill in all the at least mandatory details. So let's fill in a name, phone number, email, a legal entity name, our FEIN, then a request description. We see that when we select the request description field that this information pops up. Please provide the detailed description about your request and indicate whether you are a legal entity admin or registered agent user. So we'll give some context. If you were filling in or replacing a different legal entity administrator, you would want to make that note in this field as well. And then we'll fill in our address. Fill in all the details here and submit. And we get this submission complete, so this confirmation page. Thank you, we've received your request. Your request is under review. You'll receive an email once our review is complete. So that's all we need to do as far as registering as a legal entity administrator. Now we're just waiting to hear back. We're going to be emailed our login credentials. Here I am now teleported into the future. I'm on the authenticated OHCR portal because I was given login credentials, so I'm signed in as a legal entity administrator. Now we can walk through registering a legal entity. To do that, we would want to select the legal entity/facilities tab. And I see one of these buttons says register legal entity. I can select that to register a legal entity. I begin on this instructions page. I can read all the instructions, get an idea of some of the documentation that's going to be required later, and then select next. I'll go ahead and fill out some of these details as they are known. And then select next. Registered agent name. And then I'll select save. I get this confirmation message. The legal entity account, Steve Ray LE, has been created successfully. And I'm conveniently given the message about the next step in the process to either register a new facility or, in the case of change of ownership, link an existing facility to this legal entity. So to register a new facility or link an existing, we'll go to this register/link facility option. Or if we didn't choose this option, if we left it for later, we could still navigate to this legal entities facilities tab up here and select the register/link facility button. Since we're here, I'll select this link. And I see this button, register/link facility. I'll select that. We get some default information. If we wanted to submit a CHOW, we could select this link an existing facility. We'll showcase that in another microlearning video on CHOWs and renewals. For now, let's go ahead and register a new facility. So I'll select next. And I'll fill in these details. One cool thing about this is if I just start typing it, it should remember that there's a legal entity like this and will auto-populate a list of valid legal entities. So I'll select Steve Ray, who we just created. Let's go long-term care. Let's call it Ray's LTC. Fill in the details as we know them. Fax number is not mandatory in this case. And we have a note. This email would be the official contact channel for the facility, entity, and the Office of Healthcare Regulation. So we want to make sure we're using a facility email address that we're going to want to use for all of this correspondence. If there's a website associated, we could link it here. Once all of these fields are correct, we can select next. Then we'll fill out the type of entity, legal entity name, oh, actually, we just did Steve Ray, so let's keep Steve Ray here. Fine, FEIN number. And we'll select next and fill out the next details if there's any president details. If there's a vice president, hopefully no one at home's keeping track of my zip codes being not matched. Okay, corporate office type, secretary. And we can submit. And excellent, we get this confirmation screen where our facility, Ray's LTC, has been created successfully. And then once again, we get a link to the next stage in the process. So we just registered the facility, but if we want to make it active, we'll need to submit an initial application. We can do that by selecting this Apply Now button. If we didn't select it, it would still be on the facilities page. It would be at the top, the Apply Now button. So I'll select it. We see here where that button would be anyway, up here at the top. I'll go ahead and select Apply Now to apply for that initial application. And we get this instruction screen where we get a feel for the documentation that could be required, the fees that could be applicable. We'll select Next to go into the application and begin filling it out. Okay, management entity details. If there is one, you would select yes, and you'd have to fill out a new field with all the entity name, address, city, etc. If there's a no, the fields are contextual and they disappear. So if there's a no there, you don't fill out those fields, which makes sense. Facility services and capacity. So let's just say we can make these determinations as they apply to our facility. Okay, so let's say that my skilled nursing capacity is 10, my intermediate's 10. Let's say there's no sheltered care capacity. By default, the system adds up the total licensed bed to 20. I will have to match that on this field, this room, bed, level of care, service listing. Right now there's nothing listed, but if I select new, I'm able to list some of those things. So room 101 has 10 beds for the skilled nursing, we'll say. And we'll say room 102 has 10 beds for the intermediate care, not capacity. Save. And these numbers should match up to the total. So is the facility certified with Medicare or Medicaid? Let's say no. Does this establishment currently offer, advertise, or market to provide care for Alzheimer's special care program? Again, you just fill it out as it applies to your facility and then select next. Let's say we know who the facility administrator will be. I should have come up with more fake names. Let's say Wes Graven. And then select next. Then we'll upload all of our supporting documents. So the first one, certificate of incorporation, articles, certificate of good standing. And I'll go ahead and speed through these. I'll fast forward into the future. Let me first just showcase uploading one. So let's say certificate of need, which probably comes later, but to upload something, you just find it locally on your computer, select it, select done, and then we see that it populates here. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward into the future so you don't have to wait for me to upload all these. Okay, here I am in the future with all of my documents already uploaded. One thing I didn't point out is that you can upload more than one file. So in this case, I just selected upload files twice and I got 2 files on here. So that's an option. We can then select next. And we have the attestation. And the name we can sign. Oops. And signature. And then select next. Lastly, we have this application fee associated with our initial facility. So I'll select my payment type. In this case, I made a long-term care facility, so let's do long-term care license fee and select make payment. I'm taking to this make a payment page, so I'll just make that payment. Oops, this is name. And then review payment. And I get a little receipt. I can select this I agree to the payment terms of service and authorize this payment. Selecting that makes this make payment button available, so I'll select that to make the payment. Nice, we get this confirmation message. Your application has been submitted successfully. Thank you. We can select this as a hyperlink. It will take us to our application. And we get an idea for its status, where it is in the process. And we can take a look at all the details, make sure these are correct. If we wanted to add a facility user, an authorized facility user, to this new facility, we can first navigate to it by going to legal entities/facilities, and then we'll find it in the list. So Raise LTC, the one we just created, I'll go in there, and I see already that register facility user is one of my buttons available. So if I select register facility user, I'm taken to a new user request where I can fill out the facility user's info on their behalf. So let's do that. Fill out the details as we know them. This is another case where if we're replacing another facility user, we would want to say so in this description. But otherwise, it's the same as the legal entity admin one, where we just fill in. And the address. Zip. And submit. And we get that confirmation message, submission complete, thank you, we have received your request, it's under review. And just like in the case of the legal entity administrator, we're waiting on an email with login credentials to be sent to us, and once it is, we will have access to this facility as an authorized facility user, and we can do a lot of the same things that a legal entity administrator can do. We can submit service requests, we can submit FRIs, things like that. We can also do CHOWs and renewal applications as facility users or legal entity admins. If you have any questions and require further support, please reach out to the email address dph.llcs@illinois.gov. Thank you for watching the OHCR New User Registration Workflow Microlearning video.